Oscar Bevis for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Dave Coldwell. That smile is because you know that is a good draw.
It was good. It was really good, wasn't it? It really was. I mean, I've been excited for this tournament since they told me about the concept, and I think it's catching the imagination of the fans, and it's great. Sky up behind it. But then to top it off, the draw, we've got some great fights. We really have. So yeah, it's going to be Friday night. It's going to be electric, man. It's going to be good. Plus, it's at York Hall, so you got the atmosphere of York Hall and the fans that the proper boxing fans. It's going to be brilliant. It really is.
And anyone who's in this room would say how tense it was. By the way,
it was so tense.
And went in the build-up, it was dead silent as well. It was so strange. Right, Lee Wood. Good fight.
It's a very good fight. It is a very good fight. It's a tough fight, but Lee's at stage of his career where he's just proved it there. He wants real fights, He wants to be pushed and tested, and I believe he's going to get it on Friday. It's going to be a really good fight.
Obviously, there's a 1 in 8 chance that you're going to get the
ball
that he got.
He didn't, because alphabetical order for who goes up and picks the balls, he didn't expect to be picking. He was like, I've got no chance, and let alone get a blue ball and number one so he gets.
I was about to say,
pick.
did it even cross?
Yeah.
Did it even cross your mind?
No, it didn't. Once we knew the format for the alphabetical order for that, it's just that I'm last. It'll be interesting to see who doesn't pick me. That's what he was thinking. But yeah, he ended up getting first pick. If the British title had been on the line, he would have picked Ryan Walsh.
I said to Ryan, has he vacated it? And he thinks that he could still fight for it possibly. So
well, apparently the board, because it was because it was a draw situation, they wouldn't sanction it. But now,
shame, because that's such a good fight for British and Commonwealth.
But now, if he were to fight a Brit now in the semi or the quarter, semi or the finals, if Ryan gets through, then I think maybe they might sanction it. I don't know, but it's strange. But
will Lee be defending his Commonwealth title?
Not in this fight. If he fights a Brit or somebody that's eligible for it in future rounds, if we get through, then
so there's possibility for him to defend it throughout the tournament.
As far as the Commonwealth was sanctioning it.
Okay.
So that was fine. But Lee wants the British title. If Ryan had been there for him to pick, it would have picked, and if it had been from the British, sorry, should I say, if he'd have got the British title on the line, he would have picked Ryan Walsh, because that's what he wants. He wants that belt more than anything.
Okay, a good weekend of boxing to look forward to. Also, Golovkin, Derevyanchenko.
Yeah.
What do you think about Golovkin? Because obviously he's had the 2 Canelo fights. It seemed like at one point he was up there as people's pound for pound one, and now. So where do you sit Golovkin? Obviously towards the back end of his career now as well.
He is. That's just
but
it.
Still a world-class fighter.
He's a world-class fighter, but he is coming. He's on the home straight sort of thing. He's not the force that he once was. I don't think. His feet aren't as good as what they was. I don't think his age. It's purely natural in its age, and we was talking about this to somebody else. I can't remember at the weekend. We were saying how with Golovkin, he's at that age where you would expect a fighter to start declining, to start aging, whereas some fighters are like going on and on and on and getting better and better with age. He's kind of like what you'd expect. He had about 350 or something like that amateur fights, and then with the career that he's had as well, the way that he fights as well, you'd expect that. So it's only natural. He's had a great career, but I just don't think he's the force that he once was.
Would you be interested in seeing a Canelo trilogy?
No, I said after that second fight, I hope Golovkin don't fight Canelo again, because I think he gets stopped in the third fight. I just think that
he gets stopped?
Yeah, I do. I think he's. It's a big shout, but I think in a third fight, just with the time and father time, and just with deterioration as time goes on, the gap between the last fight and then the next fight, that's going to be, you're talking next year now. It's just time. You're aging, you're deteriorating. And the way that he doesn't seem to be the same force, and he hasn't been for a few fights, I just think the timing's all wrong for him.
Okay, now back to Saturday. Another fight in America, Spence-Porter, an unbelievable fight. Probably a fight that exceeded expectations by a mile.
Do you know what? I was excited for that fight. I knew it was going to be brilliant, but I didn't think it was going to be that good. That was just brilliant. It really was. Porter gives everybody an hard fight, but people underestimate his actual boxing ability and ring IQ as well. You just see him as rough, tough, and but he does a lot of good things. It's like he's head off the line all the time. He's dropping his levels, closes the range down really, really quickly. And Spence got drawn into a dogfight. But what I like about Spence is that he's got plenty of dog in him, and he showed in that fight, which I think you have to. Is when you start losing a few rounds, you hold it together and you can still come back. And after 10 rounds, I had Porter a round up, and then obviously in round 11. Spence turned it round, and then I thought he won the last round as well. So I had him winning it by 2 rounds, but two of the rounds that I scored, I couldn't split them because there were some rounds where the exchange was just unbelievable, and it's like it's hard sometimes to pick because you're marveling at what's happening, and I'm not a judge. It's not my job to judge, so I was watching it as a fan as well as commentating. And I give 2 rounds even when I can't split them. So whoever you're giving it to there can make it, a case for the other way. Some people that think that Porter won it, I can see that because it was that kind of fight. But I had Spence turn it round and win it by two rounds. It sounds harsh when you're seeing a judge scoring it 5 rounds and a judge scoring it 4 rounds. It's harsh on Porter. It's very harsh. But then again, I suppose. If you see my way of seeing it, I saw it by 2 rounds, but I had 2 rounds that I couldn't split. If I'd have given them to Spence as well, then I've got a 4-round fight. Do you know what I mean? It's just how you see fights, and sometimes people get up in arms and say, bullshit, you can't call a fight. You don't know what you're watching. It's opinions, isn't it? It's just opinions, and nobody's infallible. It's just when somebody's not getting credit for what they're doing during the whole fight, and you see these scorecards where it's blatantly obvious. That wasn't a blatantly obvious sort of decision on a lot of the rounds. There was a lot of rounds it was
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them fights that I'm sure I haven't watched it back again after watching it originally, but I'm sure if I did, I'd score it different.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. And that's when we watch fights, we're fans. We watch them with emotion, don't we? And so it's hard to cut that off completely. Sometimes we see a fight and then we go back, we watch it. It always looks different on TV to what it does when you sat there. It's like when I've had a fighter and they box and you see it and you think you've got a picture in your head of how they boxed. Then you watch it on TV and you think they did better than I thought. Because maybe sometimes you're a little bit more critical while you're watching it. Because you're always erring on the side of it needs to do more or more worried about what the opponent's doing. And then you watch it back and think, fucking hell, it was really good. It's just how things are sometimes.
Do you think there's any interest in Spence Garcia?
There will be, yeah. I think if you...
Actually, I feel like I've done that quite harsh there. There is interest,
when Spence and Port was made, I know a lot of people were moaning about that. Look at that, what we got. Garcia's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. It's just that he's gone off the radar. Nobody's talking about him, and then he's popped up in the ring and he's fighting Spence now. Whoa, he's back.
Well, I say interest. It's more is there demand for it because obviously, if anyone who follows PBC on Twitter see that they're going Pacquiao, Garcia, etc., we know what we want. We want Crawford, Spence, exactly.
Everybody, but realistically, that's not happening anytime soon. So what does Spence just sit at home and fold his arms and not do anything? They need to pick another fight. The fight there in Garcia is a big name, great pedigree, exciting fighter, can punch. It's a good fight. It's a really good fight. It's not the fight that we wanted to see. It's a really good fight. So that mix at 147 is fantastic, and it just shows you the levels of them. They're up there. Do you know what I mean? It's a really good division, and it's deep. So. I think it's a good fight. It's just one of those fights that when you mention it at first, because it's not Crawford.
Yeah. Who did you pick out of Spence and Crawford now? Would you say Spence is the A side as well?
It's a tough one. No, I still say Crawford. I still say Crawford should be A side.
And you'd pick him to win the fight as well?
I think Crawford's been banging out arenas, having that atmosphere, unifying a complete division, stepping up, things like that. I think Crawford for me is the A side. I should be the A side, and is the top dog. We've always had this conversation. Spence Crawford. Who do you think? I think Crawford beats him, but then the only thing is then you have to worry about the size. Crawford's coming up. Spence, is a big 147 fighter. So it's just the size and the strength, but I don't know. It's a great fight, and that's I like both fighters. I'm a big fan of both fighters, but I like Crawford. I like what he's done. I like how he's done it. He's come from when I was cutman for Ricky Burns against Terence Crawford. That's when I saw him up close and I realised you think, wow, this kid's good. And this is right back when, and he's improved so much since. But I've been a fan of his since then. I would say if you could negate the size difference, then I would pick Crawford. But then the size difference is a big thing, so you just don't know. It's a genuine 50 fight. I ain't got a clue. I just want to see it.
You're not alone there. KSI and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, your thoughts on that, and also, of course, your thoughts on we saw Devin Haney in London working out the other day. Billy Joe, obviously, they're going to fly out there and fight on November the 9th.
Yeah, November 9th. Okay, so there's two sides to this, and people are just seeing one side or seeing the other. You've got to kind of like mesh it in a little bit, right? If we just want boxing fans to follow boxing, the attendances in arenas are going to be lower, right? The viewing figures on TV are going to be lower. And if that's the case, then the money for the fighters is going to be lower, because it's a business, right? The KSI thing, I think it's it hurts me to say it, but they're going to draw shitloads of people. That arena's going to be banged out.
I think it is sold out.
Right.
Already, I think.
There you go. But the pay-per-views or whatever it is going to be on is going to be massive. Viewing figures are going to be massive. And they're not going to be 90%, 95% of them are going to be people that ain't got a clue about boxing, that don't watch boxing. But that's a different audience. But because of that, the fighters on the undercard are going to get paid more than what they would box on a normal Saturday fight night or whatever. When it's a bigger event, the fighters on the undercard get paid more money. They get more spotlight on them. Therefore, image, profile, things like that fighters need in order to progress. So you've got Billy Joe Saunders and Devin Haney being talked about going on the card. If they haven't got a problem with it, then it shouldn't be a problem. It doesn't matter whether I'm sat at home and I think it's wrong that Billy Joe Saunders is defending his world title on an undercard of KSI, two YouTubers boxing. It doesn't matter, because Conor McGregor had never had a fight, and he was main event earning absolute shitloads of money on a main event against Mayweather with other professional fighters and world champions on the undercard. Right? It doesn't matter.
Well,
because it
is that different because he's come from the combat business?
What difference does it make? He's never boxed.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's never boxed. What? So there's loads of white collar kids turning pro and then turning pro and walking into a ring to fight. Right? They're fighting. He's not fighting. They're not fighting a world champion or a top quality fighter. They're fighting each other. Right? It's a bit of beef. They're fighting each other. I get the problem is at the main event, but the main event to their fans. Their fans don't give a shit about the undercard. It's what's it. So when AJ boxes Klitschko, and it's 80,000 people there, right? How many of them were boxing fans? Because how many of them go to normal boxing shows? How many of them go to a Carl Grieve show, or a Steffi Bull show? Do you know what I mean? You used to do my show, right? Not many. They all turn out for a big main event. For the undercard, how many of them are sat in the arena, and how many of them are in a bar?
Yeah.
Right? They're there for that one fight. So what difference is it that they're there for that one fight, and it's AJ against Klitschko or AJ against whoever's the main event in a big event, right? When you look around at an undercard, even when we talk about cracking undercard fights, because we're boxing people, we talk about great undercard fights. Oh, that's on that undercard. Oh, I can't. But when the fight's on, you look around the arena and it's shit. There's hardly anybody watching. You think, fucking hell, what a waste. Fans should be watching that. We're tweeting, don't miss it, don't be at bar. Come watch this fight. But they don't give a shit. They're having a beer because they're not boxing fans. They're AJ fans or whoever's the top of the bill fans. When you box on normal shows, on my shows, on again, Carl, Steffi's, whoever, any other promoter shows, MTKs, right? You've got an event, it's a stacked card, right? This kid sells 250 tickets. He boxes on at 8 o'clock. The main event's not until 10 o'clock. He boxes, how many times you see, you're at these shows, his fans all fuck off.
Well, the show the other day at York Hall, the Queensbury Promotion show, was meant to be headlined by Sonny Edwards, and because of the amount of tickets sold by Lucy and Reed, he ended up keep people in the arena. Lucian ended up dropping a bill.
So my point is people will go. The amount of fans, boxing fans that will watch every fight is that, right? Yeah. So the people come to watch their man. So it's just the same as if these two guys were on the undercard, right? And you had Billy Joe at the top, Devin Haney at the top, right? These millions of people would be tuning in for their fight, that if it happened at 6 o'clock, and then turn it off, right? If they were in an arena, they'd turn up, it'd be chock-a-block at 6 o'clock, and then fuck off.
I'm not sure this could happen, but when it does happen, I'd love to see the stats of when people turn on.
But that's how it's going to. But the thing is, because it's such a big audience that's going to be watching this, such a big audience, some of them will sit there and watch. Now, then it's up to the fighters, and it's a bit of luck, and it's a bit of their individual personality, whether somebody catches their eye and they're like, all right, he's all right. They might start following him.
Which is why Devin Haney looks like a good move.
Exactly. So, but my point is, so if I think there's something like 10 million people watch them press conferences or something like that, right? Which was cringy as shit, and I just thought, oh my god, it's not for me. But I understand the business model. I understand, because we have to move with times with the sport, and we have to keep the sport growing, because otherwise it's eventually gonna die, because the proper boxing fans will get less and less. You have to keep looking at new things, new ways to engage new audiences, younger audiences, and this is one of them things. And it is a bit shit. But if the fighters on the undercard don't care, then if you're sat at home on your Twitter and it's offending you that much, why? It doesn't affect your livelihood. It doesn't affect your life. Billy Joe's going to get paid damn well. Devin Hayes going to get paid well to go and box on this undercard. Are they bothered? Are they bothered? They're going to defend the world title or whatever, get paid shitloads of money, go on and spend it or do whatever they want to do with it. It doesn't make any difference. And it's an extra day. It's not like it's a date that's taken away from a Saturday fight night or anything like that. It's an extra day. You know, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it, or watch the fights that you want to watch and switch it off. There's no difference to when people nip up for a drink. I've done it myself. I'm sat in a show, waiting for. I'll watch the main fights. There might be a stinker on. And it might bore me. So right, now it's time to go and get a quick drink or go for a piss. We've all done it. But you wouldn't think about doing that in the fight that you've gone to watch. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. It's people's opinions, but I get the business model, because everybody's going to make shitloads of money. There is an opportunity of getting, even if 1% stick on the sport, 1% to the amount of people that's going to be watching it, it's great, you know. But it is what it is.
Okay, there was a Liverpool press conference yesterday. Was you and Anthony there? You weren't, were you?
Anthony was. I was.
Anthony was. Yeah. That's bad, me. I haven't actually watched the IFL footage yet. Sorry, Andy. Talk to me about Anthony Fowler and his return on that bill.
Yeah, back in his home city, coming off for a good win, and it's just we're looking to see who we're going to fight. It's just another step forward. He's got to go out there. He's got to win. He's got to look good. He's got to be disciplined, and then we'll see who wins in Fitzgerald and Cheeseman, and then take that one next.
Okay, and finally, I want to talk to you about Daniel Dubois. Have you seen the knockout?
Yeah, he's good, man. Yeah. I like him.
Where do you match Dan? Like, what sort of level do you place him at? Where do you match him at now?
Stepping him up. I think, you know, get him in with. I'd love to see him in Joyce. But I get where Joyce is saying. I thought it was getting a bit of shit the other night. I've only seen clips of it, where I think Paul Dempsey said something about. Alright, mate. I'll give you a bell in a bit. No worries, mate. See you later. Yeah. Alright, mate. Nice one. See you in a bit. He was getting a bit of shit off of Paul Dempsey, where I think Paul Dempsey said something like Daniel Dubois leaving you behind in terms of experience.
Yeah, I thought that
No,
was
he's
harsh
not.
as well.
He's
Yeah.
fought Brian Jennings and I forget what else he's fought, to be honest. He's fought a couple of fighters that were up there, were good, good name fighters, whereas Daniel's not fought them kind of levels yet. I would like to see Daniel get up to that sort of level. I just think that he's a young kid. There's no rush with him, because I think he's the future. I think he's a very, very good fighter. The fight against Larte, I think it was, when he got clocked on chin a little bit, and it showed that he's not one of these heavyweights that gets it on chin and starts going negative.
Yeah.
He's one of these guys that's thinking, all right.
Forward, yeah.
So he's got plenty of minerals about him. He looks like he's got a decent chin so far. I've never heard anything about his chin being spoke about in sparring or fights.
Only about him hurting chins is what we've heard in sparring. Of course, that's rumours.
And he's a beast. He's got a good jab. He's got a great right hand. He worked his body the other night. I just thought he was quality. I think he's a quality fighter. But I think take your time with him, because he's a young kid, and you've got a great, potentially heavyweight champion there. Potentially long way to go, but I'd like to see him step up. I'd like him to have like they've done with Joyce. Get some past it names, guys that have got experience that you can absorb, guys that know how to just handle firepower, rather than guys that as soon as they get hit, they fall to pieces. And see where it goes from there, because it's exciting, mate. It's best heavyweight prospect in boxing that I can think of.
Okay, Dave Coldwell, I believe we've covered everything. There's probably other stuff, but yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I always seem to get about 20 minutes out of it.
Yeah, you do, yeah. It pisses a lot of people
You don't
off.
shut up, that's why.
Well, you asked me. Fucking hell, tell me to shut up. Don't ask
Dave
me
Coldwell,
questions.
thank you for speaking to IFL
Fuck off, you.
TV.
Hello, Mike.
Thank you for speaking to IFL TV. Catch up with you soon.
Thanks,
Thank you.
mate.